Okay, my name is Kelson. I'm from Bermuda, and I teach mathematics over there at Dalton State College. Actually, I started out not as an educator at all. I started out as a telecommunications technician. Eventually, I got a degree in engineering, electrical engineering. I sent out a portfolio to like 55 different schools up and down the Appalachian chain. I wanted to be near the mountains, so we'd spent time in central Pennsylvania and at school there. And eventually Dalton, I'd never heard of the place, offered me a better deal than the other place that responded. When I started at Dalton State after several other careers, I was teaching electronics technology. Things changed at the school, and so I ended up teaching math, which of course is very closely related to engineering, so it's not really that difficult a transition. What I like about mathematics is that the rules don't change. It's consistent. It's logically consistent. So I like that, and I like the fact that you can say a lot in a short space. It's one of the reasons I like math. So I think that knowing that God is reliable and that God really gets to the point with you, I think is how it relates. What I say about God's been very kind to me. I mean, as a child, I was taken to church. My folks, my grandmother and mother, were in the Pentecostal church for years. When I got into my teens, like many teens, I wanted to move away from anything to do with religion. But God got my attention. I always remember It Is Written, the way it used to come on TV, and I remember God got my attention. I still remember I was probably about 13, and the old Harry Anderson illustrations in some of the great big Desire of Ages books. Well, one day I was walking to school and looked up, and there was a cloud. It was the profile of this cloud. It looked just like a profile of Harry Anderson's idea of what Jesus looked like. So God got my attention, went to a vacation Bible school, and I guess the major thing for me was several things. My grandmother, who in her 80s became a Seventh-day Adventist, which is quite remarkable. And I had a brother who was a Christian before I was, and he was attending the Adventist church. And when God brought me to a crisis in my life where, growing up I was kind of quietly confident that I could do whatever I wanted to do, and God brought me to a point where I could not handle that situation. I had no more answers. And he would quietly invite me to come over, and came over, and I started to study, and for the first time in my life the Bible made sense to me. I was a head Christian before I was a heart Christian. In other words, God got my attention. I like math, time prophecies, 457 BC, all of that got my attention. So that's, as quickly as I can say it, how God got me to start on this journey with Him. And eventually He touched my heart and recognized that I needed Him. I was a sinner. I needed, to be with Him and appreciate who He is, appreciate what love means, and to care for others, and that's how He got my attention.